how can you be spiritual Bill 1 minute and cracking somebody in the head with a ball-peen hammer the next? My name's Billy. I am a ex-member of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I am chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Billy.
And I live a life second to none. Let me tell you. Whew.
It is. It's like night and day compared to when you're on or drinking compared to now and the life that you've lived sober, right?
Yeah. And though I still stick to my resolve that everything that I went through in my life allows me to have the life that I have. To the ups, the downs, the back, everything has formed or shaped me into the person that I am today. You know, I've never had any animosity to the club. I've reconnected with some folks. One of the guys that I was in the Providence charter, who's been out for a while, him and I are buddies again, and we've rode together. I reconnected with Pat out in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Pat a Pee Wee story, right?
He told on a lot of people, man. He told on a lot of members.
Yeah, well, you know, to me though, bro, you know what I mean? It's
he told on Pee Wee.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you see that interview I did with Pee Wee about that?
The only interview I saw with Pee Wee was the one that you did with Pee Wee and is it Repo? Yes, I
have probably 20 with Pee Wee.
Yeah. So you know what I need to do is I need to subscribe to the damn channel because all I catch is the little pieces here and there.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I know that. He says that he gave up a couple of people. And
20.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know of that, and I don't. You know what I mean? If I'm in the club, I'm gonna say, yeah, that right.
Yeah,
but
I'm not in a club either. Let me make that clear out there to the people.
I know, but being who I am today, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm sure there's gonna be some people that see this and say this piece of shit. You know what I mean? I cop to what I did. You know what I mean? I took that. I can try and paint it however I wanted. I can try and tell you that I had all intentions to paying him back.
And it feels embarrassing to even admit that.
I did pay him back. But the reality of it is I took that money without him knowing. It's stealing. You know what I mean? And so I can paint it however I want. It's what it is. You know what I mean? I've moved past it. And then unfortunately I look at like so many people that got thrown out of that didn't even get thrown out of the club, that left the club in good standings, and then were thrown, that didn't deserve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, my point being, I try not to sit and judge. You know what I mean? What Pat did, what I did, you know what I mean? I just try not. You know what I mean? I try not to judge. You know what I mean?
How many people in your original charter are still in the club?
None. Four of them are dead. The original members. So 4 have passed away.
There was 8, right, to start with?
Well, yeah. 9, but 8. Yes, we did the one posthumously. So there was 8. We threw one out while I was still in Rhode Island, and then 4 of them. Well, he died. Not when we threw him out, but so he's gone. Carl died, Eddie died, and Mike died. So that was 4. So there's 4 that are still alive, but none are in the club. And all of them were out bad, except I heard one of the members that originally was out bad. And they changed the status back to good.
Does it even matter, though? Out good and out bad. It's not like you're going to go back there and have a drink with them or do it. Like it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I maybe I'm lying. You know what I mean? In a small way, sure. You know what I mean? Although I just saw, I think his name was Ed from California.
Yeah, Ed.
The black hat on. He said that Pee Wee gave him that says "out bad."
Yeah, I interviewed Ed too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I saw him.
Ed.
That's where I saw him. I saw him.
He had a shirt on that said "out bad."
Oh,
What is it? The 516 crew out bad or?
Oh no, son. Oh yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, no idea. But but the difference between them is they didn't get thrown out bad. They all left and then they changed their status. I got thrown out. You know what I mean? There's a difference in that. You know what I mean? You know, in some ways, there's a shame that I carry with that. You know. So, but you know, it's not my life today. You know what I mean? My life is, and I feel that it's come full circle because I've actually been able to help a couple of guys that lived that same. I remember when I talked to this one dude, and he goes, "Listen, I've talked to a whole bunch of people, but none of them have really sat at the table." He said, and the word I heard was that you sat at the same table as I did, and you're clean today. And I'm like, I am. And then he asked me a whole bunch of questions. What should I, you know? And I was able to, you know, possibly help them a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe help them stay clean for another day. Who knows?
What would you say to someone that's watching this? Maybe they're still in the club and they want to get sober.
Well, I have no idea. I think it's really difficult to live, you know, to live that life and be sober. I think it's really, really difficult. I don't think it's impossible. I'm sure there are. I don't know personally any members from the Hells Angels. I don't know any personal members that are sober today. I do know a guy that's in one of the top 4. I mean, he's clean, but it's hard, man. It's really, really hard. And in fact, if you watch that the Patch podcast, and they go through a couple of people that, you know what I mean, were able to get sober after they left. It'd be a tough balance. You know what I mean? It's a really tough balance. And throw this factor into it, right? If you're in a 12-step fellowship or something similar to that, right? It's about living a spiritual life, right? It's about, you know, becoming this different type of. So how can you be spiritual, Bill, 1 minute and cracking somebody in the head with a ball peen hammer the next? You know what I mean? It doesn't really fit, right?
You're right.
But it, you know, I mean, you could certainly be abstinent, you know what I mean? And your life would probably still be better if you were abstinent, you know? I don't know, really, really tough. Really tough. It can happen. I'm sure it can happen.
But you're right, though. I'm sober, but here, let's go beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah.
What about somebody who's thinking about joining a club? What would be your advice to them?
You asked that, and in my head it spins. Why should I be giving advice to anybody?
Because you've been there and done that. You know,
I think you need to follow your heart, man. I think you need to. Did you say somebody that was sober that wanted to join a club?
No, or if they're on drugs, anybody out there that may be thinking about joining a club, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah. I do know one guy that was actually a member of the fellowship that I belong to, the 12-step fellowship that I belong to, who actually did become a Hells Angel. I don't know if he's still sober or not. I know through the whole process he was. Great guy, awesome guy. I've had some interactions with him because we knew each other when we were both in that same fellowship, and then he, you know, left to, you know, prospect and everything. I've had a couple of, you know, run-ins with him, and, you know, they've all been, you know, really positive. He's even said, he said every once in a while your name does come up in certain circles, and what he said made me feel really good. He goes, and it's never in a bad way. You know what I mean? So why that's still important to me today, I can't tell you, but it is. You know, that part of my life will be forever embedded in me. You know, a sponsor that I used to have said, we're like, when it comes to that, we're like moths to a flame. You know what I mean? I get on YouTube and I start watching, you know, and the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I think you got to follow your heart. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do and you truly want to do it, like, do it. You know what I mean? You know, I think we all know that the club that I joined, you know, in 1992 is not the same club that it is today, but I still think it's the greatest motorcycle organization in the world. I will always think that. I think that anybody can go become a doctor or a lawyer if you study hard enough. And not everybody can get into that lifestyle and become what they want to become. I still think it was a great achievement. I still have reoccurring dreams 29 years later. That's how much a part of your life it becomes. So if somebody asked me that, I would say, follow your dreams, do it. If that's what you think you want to do, go do it. You know what I mean?
But when you're ripped from it, though, it's kind of like breaks your heart too, right?
Crushed. Absolutely crushed. There's so many people that I miss that you know what I mean? They can't talk to me. I can't talk to them. You know what I mean? Once in a blue moon, you'll run into somebody. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? When you're in, you're in. When you're out, you're out. And that's all there is to it. You just got to.
But it's been such a turnover with people. Almost everybody from back when you were in it are either no longer in it. Maybe there's a handful of people still.